one of my last questions for you, man, for the last Ronin, is that I mentioned before earlier how TMNT does not have that defining story arc for the comics. And the fact that you have people who aren't into comics buying this book. You have people who aren't into Ninja Turtles buying this book. And I want to ask you, probably easy for you to say, but this continues. Do you think in the end, the last Ronin will finally enter that stratosphere of comic book celebration, of a premier storyline where you ask somebody, hey, do you want to read a Ninja Turtle comic book? And they ask, I don't know where to start. What is the most defining Ninja Turtle comic book out there, story arc? You say Last Ronin. Do you think if it continues at this pace, will it end up that way? Just one, I know it's hard, one issue, we got a taste. Judging from one issue, we'll probably do a review for every issue. We'll do reviews as they come out, but judging from one issue, and then we'll probably get back to this question near the end. We'll come back to this question in the end. But from one issue, do you think that this comic book story arc can enter that stratosphere of Spider-Verse or Kraven's Last Hunt or Batman Hush or one of those defining comic book story arcs that reaches the masses? Do you think it can get there?
I gotta give it to you, Deon, man. You ask fire questions. Really do. You really do.
Got to get it from inside fan, man. Let me know what you cooking, man. What you feeling?
Okay, so from first sight, I will give it that Last Ronin has been the most impactful comic book from speculation of the fans and stuff like that. But if we're going off of speculation of this is the pinnacle, the most known comic of all Ninja Turtles, of all history, no matter the deal with Mirage and IDW and Archie and stuff like that, it's kind of tough because there's been crossovers that Ninja Turtles have done as well. That's also defined because you also got to see that Ninja Turtles did a crossover with Batman, and that defined Ninja Turtles. Then Boom Studios partnered up with Ninja Turtles and did Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles crossover. So they've been bringing out bangers with the Ninja Turtles back to back. So if you would sit there and say which one is the defining issue, I mean, speculation, I would say that, I would say just by eyesight alone and what took place, the Batman and Ninja Turtles did it because they adapted it to a film. It was that big of a hit. I don't have the record sales of the comic books that was sold. I don't have the record sales of the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles were sold, but Last Ronin has also set an impression. So I would say that, Last Ronin is a runner-up, could be the most defining one, because if the Last Ronin, I'm not going to say if, when the Last Ronin finishes up his miniseries and stuff like that and is receptive to the fandom, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and stuff like that, they're going to sit here and rub their hands. It's like, all right, now that it's done, what can we really do? How can we market it further? Because it's become a hit to the adult fans. We want to see more of it. And if you want to see more of it, you're not going to just try to write another comic book series. How can you ante up the stakes? So, yeah, you're looking at animations and live action. So, Last Ronin is the runner-up, but as of right now, I have to give the credit to Batman and Ninja Turtles because it was that high in speculation that they ended up adapting it to a film, and then also it made toy sales. So can Last Ronin do the same thing? Would you see fans buy Ninja Turtle, buy Michelangelo as the Last Ronin? You got me sold on one of the action figures and stuff. And I'm probably going to do above and beyond to get Last Ronin its name, its registration, stuff like that. Just like, Jenica is working her hardest to actually get it registered as the fifth known turtle. Because you'd be surprised how many people don't know who Jenica is, But now you're going to have people that were like, who is going to see a Ninja Turtle with a black bandana. There's still a fandom out there who doesn't know who's a black bandana Ninja Turtle. If they keep pushing this agenda, because we all know that fans, they've they piqued interest of wanting the turtles to experience consequences. That I think what registered Last Ronin was that fan art that we all saw with Leonardo on his on all fours with the bandanas tied around his arms and stuff like that. Seeing it's almost like that he led the loss of his brothers and stuff, which is there was never a story of it, but it's been a known fan art out there. But for the Last Ronin to be the one that's actually coming up in the ranks and has experienced the loss of his brothers, it's going to appeal to the masses. The fact of the matter is, like you just said, you got non-comic book readers and non-fans of Ninja Turtles picking this book up because they know the hype of this book. And you're telling me right now that Last Ronin sold out day one? I've never heard a comic book done that in a long time. Yeah, So the speculation is high. And the fact of the matter is, like, we're looking at it on eBay right now. The book is going for $30 to $40 to $50 right now.
That doesn't include the variants.
Yes, day one. So the speculation is there. The Last Ronin is a runner-up of being an iconic hit, but as of right now, I have to give it to Batman and Ninja Turtles.
Okay. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on this one. For the simple reason that, and even though Batman, Ninja Turtles, that Batman Shredder fight was, that shit was top-notch shit right there for the animated movie. I'm going to say that The Last Ronin, if it keeps its momentum, if it keeps the quality, it will be that one Ninja Turtle comic book storyline that will enter that stratosphere. The only reason why I kind of disregard the Batman crossover is because The Last Ronin is strength of its own merit. It's only the strength of the Ninja Turtles. It's not relying on Batman. There's no reliance on Power Rangers. There's no reliance on the Ghostbusters. They did a crossover with the Ghostbusters in the comics. The biggest storylines recently in the last 5, 6, 7 years of Ninja Turtle comic books has been crossovers. This is the first one to stand on its own 2 feet, saying this is a Ninja Turtle storyline. And oh yeah, 2 toes. This is the first one to stand on its own 2 toes. There we go. Correct me. So with that, I'm thinking that this can continue. It will be that defining Ninja Turtle story arc where you got people who's got massive collections. They don't have any Ninja Turtle comic book, but they have the Last Ronin graphic novel right in their collection. And I think the only thing that's going to throw this off is a dip in quality, and it needs a defining moment. It needs some moment that makes it unique amongst other comic books. You have Civil War, the Captain America versus Iron Man shot, where the shield versus the repulsor blast. You have Infinity Gauntlet with Thanos doing the snap. You have the death of Gwen Stacy with Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy being webbed up, neck broken. You have signature iconography and images with these storylines. And I think if this continues and The Last Ronin can produce some kind of iconic moment that stands on its own, that's different than anything else, it'll be right up there with the rest of these storylines, and we're going to get that live action or animated feature sometime soon. Definitely. No questions asked. They're doing it. Whether it's in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, people are going to know about that turtle, Ninja Turtle with the hood and the black mask. No doubt about it, man, for sure.
Thinking back of what you just said about Last Ronin of holding it on its own with no crossovers of Power Rangers, Batman, and Ghostbusters, stuff like that. I could agree with you. I'll accept that. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 comic book seasons because I'm definitely going to end up picking them up. And I want to complete that. And just witnessing this history. This is history alone. That Michelangelo is a soloist. Seeking revenge of his fallen brothers. Like, there's a lot of weight for it that can carry on its own without crossovers. But like I said, you still got 4 more comic books and stuff like that. They could throw a left field out there and throw Shredder in there when we might not need him. They could throw Master Splinter, who might not even die. They could throw in some stuff because as of right now, April O'Neil's in there that's carrying her weight. And that's the only familiar character along with Michelangelo that's in there.
And there's a possible cameo when the girl was called Jones. And then did you catch that?
Yeah.
The girl that was called, he's like, Jones, the girl in the purple. I mean, that's almost too direct and almost too easy to spot. And it's like, is this really going to be Casey Jones' granddaughter or whatever? Or is it just coincidence? I don't know, but...
You know what? I got to throw something.
Go ahead.
The cartoon, Ninja Turtles Fast Forward, there was a cartoon series on Fox Kids. You know, Ninja Turtles Fast Forward, where they said April O'Neil and Casey Jones got a kid, and they were the caretakers of the Ninja Turtles. I didn't really watch that cartoon, but I peeped it, and they're far into the future, almost like the future that exists in Last Ronin now, with the flying car and stuff like that, because they jumped into a time dimension where April O'Neil and Casey Jones have a kid, and now they're in their future. They're fighting future monsters and stuff like that, and I guess a future Shredder and all that stuff like that. So I mean, my thing is I just don't want to see a cop out. You know, I really don't, because there's comic books and shows and all stuff like that. They get the little easy cop out. I just don't want to see cop out. I want a full on, extremely how Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's vision is set. No cop outs. Don't win anything else, you know, just to keep Michelangelo to keep its weight, stuff like that. Like really, I mean, I'm already seeing hints that they're going to do a lot of flashbacks. It's already in a comic book of a flashback of, you know, the times he spent with his brothers, stuff like that. So we could see maybe about 2 or 3 pages dedicated to flashbacks and stuff like that. But, you know, to progress Michelangelo on his own. Personally, I don't want to see Usagi Jimbo. I don't want to see a returning character from the past come in to save, you know, to help Mike. I want Mikey to do this on his own accord, no help, no assistance. April O'Neil could go ahead and provide medical help once in a while, but I don't want her even joining in the fray, donning some damn suit and being some ninjutsu master alone. No, Mikey needs to do this on his own. So I look forward to the next 4 comic book series.
Okay, yeah, Mikey got to come in and whoop that ass, man. Mikey got to do it, and we don't need to see April O'Neil in a Shredder Destroyer suit or a underground secret hideout of mutants, of a mutant army that is readily available to Mikey to lead for this final battle that nobody knew about. Like, yeah, no cop-outs. We want a nice conclusion, no teaser, no cliffhanger. Nice conclusion to this bad boy. Sticking the landing is one of the hardest things to do in stories. And especially when you have these comic book story arcs that have a lot of hype to them. It's one thing if they come out and you don't know about it. And then after the fact, it's like, oh shit, this shit was really good. This is a legendary storyline. It's another when you have anticipation, when you have a hype train, and everyone's looking on it and the landing doesn't quite stick. It's kind of like, it's different. It's different when it already comes out and it's big. And it's different when it's coming out and it's already big. So they got to stick the landing on that. My last 2 thoughts on it. I'm glad it wasn't Raphael. I am so glad it wasn't Raphael. I am Raphael out. I know he's the man. He's the Wolverine of the group. I get that. I don't know why I don't hate these character types, but I'm not a fan of the very popular alpha machismo lone wolfer type characters of the group, like Wolverine or whatever. I mean, I like Raphael, but he's one of my least favorite members of the team. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of the same thing for Wolverine. Wolverine's a little bit the middle for me, but I've always been a Donatello guy. I've always been a Leonardo guy. I liked the calm, cool, reserved, very calculating type characters over some of the more brandish, very antsy, aggressive characters. But we've seen Raphael in everything. He always gets the major story arcs, and he always gets the push and the hype, and for a reason, because he's a very likable character. But I'm glad it wasn't Raphael, and I'm glad it wasn't Leo. I'm glad it was Mikey, and I'm looking forward to the world building. I'm looking forward to see this world that the Last Ronin inhabits, and what else is affected by, what's so TMNT about it. Well, what has Mikey been doing in the last 10 years? What's on the outside of this? We saw the mud, the sludge river to get to New York City. What's on the outskirts? What happened to everything else? how did the mutants die? Like, I'm really intrigued to see how this shapes up in this dystopian future in the TMNT style. So with that, man, thank you, man, for coming on here on Behind the Scene Podcast. You know, I'm on Homeboy Talk, so this is just a little taste of things to come for future collaborations, man. Why don't you tell the listeners where you can find you at and etc.
Well, I'm definitely on all major social media platforms, so you can find me at ORRION online. That's Orrion online. See me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Definitely, you can catch us on a newer platform, Homeboy Talk. That's at Homeboy Talk Boy, spelled with BOI. Homeboy Talk. You can see me and Deon there, where we're doing a lot of other topics as well. You know, not just stuck on pop culture. We talking all speculations and stuff like that. Kind of shooting the breeze, you know. So we're bringing the same atmosphere that you get from a barbershop, and we're bringing it to you guys as listening platforms.
All right, man, for sure. And with that, folks, that ends this episode Behind the Scene Podcast. Thanks for listening, and let us know what you think about this last Ronin storyline. The hype is real. Are you digging the panels? You digging the story? Let us know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and we're out.